Usually when we're talking about GuliKit, we're talking about controllers with magnetic Hall effect sensors, and when we're talking about adapters, we're mentioning Brook accessories. But did you know that GuliKit has an adapter which allows you to use those magnetic Hall effect controllers on PlayStation or Xbox? It is true, unfortunately there is a little bit of input lag or delay introduced with the newest Goku model, and I can't recommend the older PC version because the Goku does everything that the older version does and more, yet it's the same price. So let's plug in this adapter and find out if you should be running it to your console or PC.
This is your controller captain. We've reached 6,900 feet. Go ahead and start flicking the sticks and mollywopping the back paddles.
You don't like back paddles? How about those rear buttons?
We've tested almost 100 custom and premium controllers, and we're only at the beginning. You need a thumbstick guide or tutorial on how to overclock your controller?
Check out the controller playlist.
Bing bong.
Controller captain out.
Quick disclaimer for my audience, the Stallions and Stallionettes, these adapters were sent for review, but this is going to be an honest, comprehensive review. I haven't been paid or told to say anything about them, so if there's any cons, shortcomings, or areas of improvement, you're going to hear about it. So these companies make better products over time. Now this can be a small source of confusion. They actually produce two different models of adapters. What is the difference as far as platform supported and controller supported and price? The smaller of the two boxes is called the GuliKit adapter for Windows PCs. It does not have Mac support. It's going to be Windows 7 through 11. And there's also some controller limitations here. It's only going to be compatible with the GuliKit controllers, although those already have compatibility for PC, so you technically don't need this adapter, but you are going to be able to use Xbox One and Series controllers. Make sure that the Xbox One controllers are after the midlife refresh where they introduced the One S and X and introduced Bluetooth into the controllers, doing away with that little chin or lip. One thing to note with these adapters, it does have dual mode, so it has a 2.4G connection as well as Bluetooth 5.0. The latest and greatest Bluetooth protocol is 5.4, however that's not really adopted in any consumer electronic items. However, 5.1 is. The PlayStation 5 console used Bluetooth 5.1 to communicate the controllers with the console. Something to note, that is an older Bluetooth protocol, and you will get slower speeds and consistency on the PC using it. Now the other model, which we're primarily going to be focusing on here today, retails for $20, at least that's what it's going for on Amazon currently, and it's called the Goku. So you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, that alone might be a reason to pick this thing up. You have a lot more support here as far as platforms and controllers, as this does PC, but it'll also do Switch, PS4, yes that does include PS4 games on PS5, Xbox One and Series consoles, and as far as controllers, you will now be able to use those GuliKit controllers, which do have magnetic Hall effect thumbstick modules, which should never get stick drift. You can now use those on Xbox or PlayStation 5, PS4 games on 5. Switch has been getting the only love in the magnetic Hall effect department thus far. We can now remedy that with this Goku adapter, which is really cool. And the main selling feature of this adapter, at least what they tout on their landing page, is the fact that all the processing is done on the adapter, so you do not need to install any drivers from your PC to the adapter, which is awesome because that was one of my big complaints with the adapters from Brook Accessories, is that a lot of times they're janky and don't really work until you do that initial update, and that requires a PC, which a lot of console gamers might not own. One con or downside is that you need the original gamepad hooked up to the console at all times. This is something we usually see in the racing sim world, where in order to have the new input mapping of your wheel, or in this case the GuliKit controller, you need to have an original controller plugged up to the console to let it know the default button mappings. So cosmetically, keep in mind you are going to have a controller plugged into your console at all times you're using this adapter. I actually like the little instruction booklet quite a bit because it is color coded by platform, and sure enough, like any good instruction manual should do, I was able to get up and running with the product by following the instructions. Or if you don't want to read those, you plug the adapter into your console, plug the original native controller into that, make sure the console and controllers are both powered on. Then on the GuliKit controller, put it in Windows X input mode and hold down the sync button for around 3 seconds until the 4 LED lights start dibbly-dabbing back and forth real quick like. Hold down the one and only button on the side of the Goku adapter for around 3 seconds until the green light begins to flash rapidly, at which point you'll feel a vibration in the controller and you are successfully paired. And it's as simple as that. Not the simplest adapters, because there are ones like the Brook Accessories adapters that don't require you using a native controller. However, those retail for between $45 and $65, so more than double the price of this adapter. I just ran my first input lag or delay test on a stock non-overclocked PS5 DualSense controller. Here are the results. You're seeing a lot of 3.9s, giving you an average of about 3.88. Not bad at all. Let's run another one. Pretty gosh darn consistent results. In fact, you can't get any tighter than that with the minimum and maximum spread only 1 digit apart. Now let's run it through that Goku adapter and see if there's any input lag or delay introduced introduced. Also, something to keep in mind, the smaller box with the cheaper entry-level adapter that only works on PC is just going to be held in with some cardboard, as where the Goku has a nice little carrying case with some foam in there. The actual device seems pretty solid. It looks a little bit cheap as there's pretty big seams or gaps where the plastics meet, but it feels pretty solid, pretty chunky. Now, you're not going to get any kind of a speed boost using a USB 3.0 port versus a 2.0. It just so happens I'm plugged into a 3.0 port because that's what's on the front of my PC tower, but you're not going to see any speed difference using 2.0 or 3.0 ports. Not what I like to see. That is unfortunate. You couldn't see because I was on the wrong screen, but there you go. That does make sense that there is some input lag or delay, a decent noticeable amount, about double a stock controller introduced with this adapter. Damn, let's run a couple more. GuliKit probably doesn't want this surfacing, but the gamers got to know. Those nitty-gritty controller players have to know there's a little bit of input lag or delay introduced with this adapter. So instead of that 3.8, you're getting about 7.8. So it's in essence doubling the input lag or delay when going wired to PC. Is that a big deal? Not really, unless you're in some kind of a competitive scenario. Without running this X input test, I wasn't able to tell any difference in gameplay. When I press a button, it wasn't like my character was waiting a few seconds and then jumping, but there is definitely noticeable input lag or delay introduced with this adapter. You might be wondering why I tested that USB-A port to get a measure of the stock input lag or delay, considering that is just going to be the stock native controller for that console that needs to be plugged in constantly so the adapter knows the mapping for the new controller that you're using. That wired connection from that native or stock controller is going to create a bottleneck or a choke point because that mapping of that stock controller is constantly being mirrored through the adapter wirelessly transmitted, and if there's an indicated 8 milliseconds of input lag or delay with a wired or tethered connection to the PC running X input test, which is incredibly accurate, I can't foresee a wireless connection to the new controller you're using being any faster than that, so it would be at least 8 milliseconds. That's the floor of the input lag or delay that you could expect on console. However, it was virtually indistinguishable from playing with a stock native controller, so if that speaks anything to the actual user experience, it felt just like the native controller, which was sick. Along the lines of what I mentioned earlier about not recommending the old school PC only version, it does seem that they're kind of discontinuing that model as I'm not seeing it listed here anymore, just the Goku. Make sure we skip over the sponsored links because those are usually a third-party vendor. This is from the official GuliKit store. This is the link that will be down in the description below. $20 for this adapter. Would I recommend it at that price? Well, we've got some pros and cons here. The cons would be that the Goku adapter does introduce a little bit of input lag or delay, about 4 milliseconds. If you're playing on a controller that only has 4 milliseconds like the PS5 DualSense, that's double. Could be a big deal. Is it? I personally don't think so, especially if you're playing on console. And that was the results to PC. There really is no telling if that new input lag or delay would be introduced on console. I'm assuming it would. I do like how small and sleek this device is. It's also all black. It doesn't have some bright, vibrant, gaudy colors on it. And for $20, it does have a pretty impressive catalog of compatibility with controllers and consoles. So honestly, if you can get over that additional 4 milliseconds of input lag or delay, which you probably wouldn't have even noticed if I hadn't have tested it and pointed it out here in this video, this is a damn good adapter. This adapter is linked in the description below, and I'll see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as honest gaming product reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. There are some hefty exclusive discount codes found only in the description of my videos and only for the audience here at GamerHeaven. I have links to all my other platforms and socials in the description below. To get in touch with myself and the Stallions and Stallionettes of GamerHeaven, join the community Discord, and check me out at twitch.tv where I go live every other leap year on a blue moon if it falls into an odd calendar number, and my pH balance is on point. Just kidding, starting June I'm going to be live streaming a lot. Thanks for watching. This has been AK40 Kevin hosting GamerHeaven, and I'll see you tomorrow because I upload daily, all the time, 60% of the time, sometimes, most of the time. Peace.